Last year, you barely went to the doctor, so the cheapest high deductible plan worked perfectly fine. But this year, you've been diagnosed with something new or different. You might end up needing to use benefits differently than you did the year prior.
Welcome to Under the Coverage,
During each episode, we interview people, sometimes it's just each other.
who spend their working days focused on health benefits and healthcare.
As consumers, we want the same thing you do.
We want the entire system to be less complicated.
Our guests share insights about how they navigate healthcare and the health benefits system.
I'm Jolene Myers.
And I'm Sarah Flusky, and we're ready to lament,
Complain,
empathize, and maybe help a few people. Today, we're going to talk to listeners about why you should pay attention during open enrollment every single year, especially if it's a year where you can anticipate that you're going to use the healthcare system differently than you have in the past. We're going to talk about qualifying events that allow you to make changes during the plan year. So let's dive in.
Yeah, open enrollment. What is that? There's an annual window every year when employees can make changes to their benefits. So this usually starts anywhere between 1 and 3 months before your plan year is effective. Most plans have a January 1 effective date, but we also often see educational institutions that might have like a July or September 1st effective date. So open enrollment is not always in the fall, which is the best season ever.
It is spooky soup season.
What happens during open enrollment? You can enroll in coverage, which means you can pick the same plan you used last year, or it might be time to reevaluate whether a different plan is a better fit for you and your family. So you can review plan members. Is everyone still eligible? If you have a 12 or 13-year-old on your plan and you signed up for a DCA in the past, a dependent care account, you will want to recalculate what you're setting aside this year.
That is a tricky one. So I learned that when my 12-year-old was turning 13. So they are covered until they are 12 years old, even if they're using dependent care services at age 13. So in the year when your child is turning 13, if you have a dependent care account, instead of calculating, let's say, you'll laugh, let's say it's $1,000 for the sake of math for the entire year for dependent care for after school care for your 12-year-old turning 13. In the year that they're turning 13, they won't be covered once they turn 13. You can put your money in for the full year, but once they turn 13, they're no longer eligible to be a dependent in a dependent care account for those reimbursement purposes. It's an IRS law. It is not a company rule or regulation. There's no exceptions. It's the IRS. You don't get to choose. But it's important because when you're planning, you can only use dependent care funds for dependent care qualified expenses. And if that is childcare in the year that your child turns 13, that can be a different dollar value depending on when they turn 13. So this is a tricky one and one I like to call out because if you're in that tween era,
Taking notes. I got a few years, but I'm taking notes. So yeah, that is a tricky one, but thank you for sharing that anecdote because I think that's an important one and we're all there. Well, not all of us, but some of us. So overall, open enrollment is when you can add coverage, drop coverage, change plans, and update dependents. No explanation required. So that leads us to the next topic, qualifying life event, QLE. Some more acronyms to throw your way. Outside of open enrollment, you can only make changes to your plan if you experience a qualifying life event. So, what does that mean? You're getting married, you're getting divorced, hopefully not in the same year, having a baby, you're losing other coverage, you've got an adult or you are an adult aging off a health plan, your spouse is getting a new job or they've lost their job. So, typically, you have to report these events within 30 days of it happening, or you're stuck in the plan you're in.
yeah, this is another one of those things you don't know until you need to know it. So open enrollment is the time to make all the willy-nilly choices that you would like, and not unless there is a qualifying life event sometime during the plan year. Outside of open enrollment, that's the only chance you have to make any kind of changes.
Yeah, gotta keep those things in mind because they happen.
So let's recap. Think about it this way. Last year, you barely went to the doctor, so the cheapest high deductible plan worked perfectly fine. But this year, you have knee surgery coming up or some sort of procedure, or you've been diagnosed in that year with something new or different. You might end up using your health plan or needing to use benefits differently than you did the year prior. Open enrollment is the time when you get to switch plans so that you can figure out, based on how I'm going to use the plan, what is the smartest use of my money. Maybe it's not a higher deductible plan because you're going to be seeing more people up front and you're going to spend a lot of money up front and you're not prepared for that. You'd rather pay a consistent monthly out of pocket cost and choose the plan with fixed copays. Or you might choose one with a higher or lower high deductible, depending on how you're going to use the plan that year. A lot of it is about comfort, but also planned utilization.
Yeah.
If you can make some changes.
So open enrollment in a nutshell is basically your one shot to stop future you from yelling at past you when the medical bills roll in. So now something big changes next year if your kid's about to turn 26. Congratulations. A magic age. If they're about to turn 26, you've got 30 days to kindly kick them off your plan.
And if you're turning 26, you're going to have 30 days to figure out how to get health insurance.
And you can listen to our podcast to learn some tips and tricks and educate yourself, right?
There are some episodes around turning 26.
There are, qualifying life events. So otherwise, you're stuck with whatever you've got until next open enrollment. So it's just important to understand what qualifying life events are. Keep in mind, the health plan dates and when that open enrollment period starts and finishes, and you should be good to go.
And open enrollment doesn't always have to be choose the same plan. You can do a little math around what that plan actually costs you, including copays and your out-of-pocket maximums and deductibles, and understanding how you think you might use the plan in that year. And you can't predict the future, so you can't know that it's going to be a year where you will use it differently. But if you've had a year where you can anticipate that, you can make a different choice at open enrollment. It's a great time to choose a plan that better fits how you're going to need to use your benefits in the health system instead of just blanket re-enrolling in the same thing year after year. That's it. I love open enrollment. Lots to learn. None of it is exciting, but all of it impacts your wallet. So thank you, listeners, for tuning in. If you've typically rolled your eyes and dragged your heels during open enrollment, maybe now you will feel ready to opt in, opt out, and sign up for the benefits that really fit you and your family. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. This podcast is brought to you by Nova Healthcare Administrators.
Have a question or a situation you'd like advice about?
You can find us on X at UNDR The Coverage.
If you're into email, you can reach us at podcast@novahealthcare.com.
Don't forget to leave a review, give us a like or subscribe, but most importantly, share. We'll find the insiders.
You share it with the outsiders.